The issue is not just how we respond in the city of Chicago, it's the fact that we have a governor, an elected official in the state of Texas that is placing families on buses without shoes, cold, wet, tired, hungry, afraid, traumatized, and then they come to the city of Chicago where we have homelessness, we have mental health clinics that have been shut down and closed. You have people who are seeking employment. The governor of Texas needs to take a look in the mirror of the chaos that he is causing for this country. This is not just a Chicago dynamic. He is attacking our country.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have a great and wonderful day. Well, as you can tell, we are talking about the Chicago mayor once again, because he seems to be embezzling money. Now, this is an allegation. I don't know if he truly is, but there is some type of truth to my insanity here, because it's all starting to make sense if you start going back on what was happening in California with them doing embezzlement and taking money and using a luxury lifestyle, and to what Chicago mayor is doing and what have you. Now, I am kind of saying that he is doing embezzlement, right? Because it really looks like that is what's happening here with the funds going missing. However, it's just like, how else do you explain the funds just going missing? It's like the corruption is just never ending with these people. Like the Democrats constantly have to keep on doing illegal stuff, keep on doing corruption. It's like it doesn't end. And here is some of the part here with the Chicago mayor doing this stuff along with the California embezzlement.
5 investigates, which for months has followed the money trail tied to Chicago's migrant mission. Total spending now tops more than $400 million.
Now, despite the creation of a city spending website, it's still not exactly clear where all of that money has gone. In his follow-up report, investigative reporter Bennett Haberly uncovers some new information not shared by the city.
Consider these numbers. More than 6,000 people still live in city-run migrant shelters. That means costs are still adding up. Since August of 2022, the city of Chicago has spent more than $400 million, according to the city's spending website. Nearly $253 million went to one private company, Kansas-based Favored Healthcare Staffing, which staffs the shelters. Another $76 million went to Equitable Social Solutions.
So yeah, you've seen this, right? To where what we have here on this screen is that you see that Favorite Healthcare Staffing Incorporated gained $252 million. With the, I guess you could say, with the rounding going up to $253 million. Then you have the Equitable Social Solutions, which sounds like a very woke and far left company that is $76 million and $789,000. So roughly, we could say maybe around $70 million, or maybe even around $65 million, give or take, is missing from this entire situation here, right? So I don't know about you guys, but that's a lot of money to be going missing here, right? Because they, like they said, there was $400 million that they were spending, and somehow $65 to $70 million is just gone. It's vanished. We don't know where this went. So that's a problem, and this is going to lead down to the situation here with California, where California had an embezzlement problem in LA, and he was spending it on very lavish and crazy stuff, and again, it's all starting to tie itself together here.
That converts motels into homeless housing is facing a major lawsuit, and now there are new explosive claims made against a former executive.
Inland Empire Bureau Chief Rob McMillan has details behind the lawsuit.
Project Homekey, a state effort to turn old hotels and motels into low-income housing for the homeless. Now, with many of those properties in foreclosure, the developer of those projects is suing their former CFO, Cody Holmes, accusing him of embezzling millions of dollars to fund an extravagant lifestyle for he and his ex-girlfriend, Madeline Witt.
Doctoring up signatures, creating documents, opening up fictitious accounts.
According to the lawsuit filed by attorney Brian's son, Cody Holmes started out as an intern at Shangri-La Industries in 2014, rising to the role of CFO just 5 years later. The lawsuit alleges that, unbeknownst to his boss, he was siphoning away millions of dollars for the use of he and his ex-girlfriend, including the rent on this 6,500 square foot mansion in Beverly Hills.
The complaint alleges that he used significant portions of the funds he embezzled to purchase exotic cars, expensive real estate, expensive accessories such as very, very expensive handbags for his girlfriend, Birkin bags.
But while Shangri-La is the plaintiff in this lawsuit, they're the defendants in another lawsuit filed earlier this year by state housing authorities because of what happened. The whole situation leaving Project Homekey tenants in limbo.
They gave us notices on our doors saying that we might get evicted.
Residents at Project Homekey properties in Redlands and San Bernardino telling us last month they're worried they could be forced out and end up back on the streets, all because of greed.
So yeah, what you're seeing here, and what we're going to see later in the video, is that there is a huge ties and very significant ties to what happened in LA and the embezzlement, and to what Brandon Johnson may or may not be actually doing here. Because if you're missing around $65 to $70 million, where is that rest of that money? Like, where did it go? Because obviously there's something wrong here, and we need to find out where it happens. But of course, the great Mayor Johnson, he denies this. They give him all the stuff that you have. Take a look.
That company partnered with another called ReloShare, which helped identify and sign lease agreements with property owners of the buildings that eventually became the migrant shelters.
That's where a number of those leases are.
But when we asked the city months ago for copies of these lease agreements, we were given just 9 out of 27. The use of these private companies has helped mask from public view where the public dollars have flowed. What we didn't know until now is how much the property owners of the migrant shelters were earning. But thanks to a new lawsuit, we're being provided some more clarity. A lending company filed this lawsuit last month against 2 Chicago developers, alleging they did not make it clear when they signed a loan agreement that the building in the West Loop would be used to house migrants. What is not in dispute is that the owners of the Ogden shelter are paid $150,000 a month by ReloShare as part of a use agreement. That means in a year's time, they'd receive more than $1.8 million. The lease agreement also calls for additional payments of up to $400,000 if the number of migrants inside the Ogden shelter exceeds 650.
So yeah, this is where I think we have ties in where it benefits not just the property owner but also the mayor in this instance too, because the more illegal migrants that you have, the more that they get paid. Because for instance, you have this here where if you have up to 700 or more shelter users, then they get from $200,000 to the $400,000. Now, this is another thing here that we're having. And now I'm going to get to my main point here in a little bit, but I want that to sit in your mind. The more illegal migrants that they get, the more the shelter gets. And then, if that's the case, what is Brandon Johnson's solution or decision on this?
The latest figures show more than 700 people still live here.
If there are public dollars involved, shouldn't the public know where they flow?
100%.
Back in March, Alderman Andre Vasquez, the chair of the City Council's Migrant Committee, told us aldermen themselves have had a hard time accounting for all the spending.
That's still the question that's outstanding.
When we attempted to ask Mayor Brandon Johnson about this at the time, he said this.
Again, we're meeting you right where you are.
Were it not for this new lawsuit, the public would have no idea how much these property owners are earning.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you.
We pressed the mayor about this last week and asked if he would consider adding the information to the city's website. He said this.
We have given an accurate account of how dollars have been spent.
That's it? Is there anything that would preclude your administration from sharing that level of detail?
There's no information that has been kept from you.
Johnson then reiterated talking points he's made before, how he's renegotiated contracts to save taxpayer money, and how Congress has failed to provide additional financial relief. He also doubled down, incorrectly stating that all spending information is available.
That information is available to you, sir.
Not all of it, though, is, sir. I mean, that's
Can you
the point.
give me a specific example of what's not available?
The Ogden shelter in the West Loop, that's what is spelled out in this lawsuit, that they get $150,000 just for being the property owner per month. Nowhere is that available on the city's spending website. My question, again, is simply, is there anything that would preclude you from including that level of detail? You guys have said you're transparent. Why not show it?
All of the information related to this spending to this mission is available.
That's where we left it. We have checked over and over again to see if additional information was added to the city's website. If it is, we'll let you know. Bennett Haberly, NBC5 Investigates.
Yeah, and he's saying all this stuff is being mentioned is available, right? And now let's go back here, right? Let's go back to where we want to see what they're talking about here when it comes down to the amount of money that they should be getting in this actual type of stuff here, right? So we have here where it shows that if at any time on or prior to March 31st, 2024, ReloShare receives an approval from the city to increase the capacity of the premises to 700 or more shelter users, ReloShare shall make an addition to the one-time payment herein of $200,000 to property owner for a total of $400,000. Now, we have that here, right? Now, we're going to go into seeing what Chicago mayor wanted. And he wants the federal government, Chicago mayor urges Biden to grant work permits to 500,000 illegal immigrants. This is what Chicago mayor is doing. He did this on April 4th, 2024. And again, if you guys think I'm biased or whatever because it's Fox News, which I don't like Fox News either, guys, but again, it says Mayor Brandon Johnson asked Chicago City to Council to fill $70 million gap to care for migrants. So again, what we have here is that at least that Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is wanting Biden to grant work permits to 500,000 illegal immigrants. Why? Because it goes all the way back to this, right? It goes all the way back to this. It goes back to the fact that what we have here is that the more illegal migrants that they get, which would be federalized, you would have more money coming in, and because it would be from the federal taxpayers, and then when more money comes in from the federal taxpayers, that means that, you know, you get to embezzle essentially more money, right? That's how that works. And it works well for the property owners because the more that they exceed 700 more shelter users, the more that their money increases. So it's all like a chain reaction here. This is part of the reason why he wants federal funding or illegal immigrants to be work permits, so that way he can get more money. And that's all that makes sense here. And he's embezzling something. He's doing something. I don't know where this money is, but it seems like he's embezzling some kind of money here. That's what I am seeing. He's saying it's not on the website, but it's not on. But he said it's on the website, but it's not on the website. So what else do we have to conclude on what it is other than outside corruption? Like I said, what we've seen before in the LA in the embezzlement situation is that they were using it. They were taking it from the homeless or whatever, because the homeless is what funds California, I guess. And this is no different here with the migrants. It's just different. So again, guys, this mayor is corrupt. This mayor is not wanting the not for the people of it, and he is now stealing money. And now you guys are seeing what the reality is. Again, when you guys see all my stream tomorrow, you'll notice that a lot of the Democrats, black people, this is talking to you, that they lied to you. They're lying to you, and they're using you to get votes and embezzle money and take your money, because that taxpayers is your money. That is your money. So he's lying to you, taking your money and making it for himself and making your lives worse. Just realize that. So you guys are now seeing the reality of what's happening in Chicago, how corrupt this mayor is, and there's nothing else you can say about it, alright? Like, that's just plain and simple. Well, guys, that's it for the video. Like, guys, share. As always, take care, my friends.
I'm disgusted by what I see in public. Even people closest to us can't be trusted. This is algorithmic disease, the social media.